On a more horrifying note, I think you had some kind of disturbing video. You watched someone talk about a video that exists, but it's too brutal for you to watch.
Yeah, well, I have no interest in watching anything like a snuff film or a Faces of Death type of video. I mean, like, if this were 15 years ago, my morbid curiosity would be like, yes, give that to me. But I'm glad this one was well after the point that I tapped out of those types of things.
Yeah.
Because I quit looking at that shit, man, once I got out of high school, maybe 2 or 3 years after, so like maybe 2010.
Yeah.
2011. This video came out in 2016, and it's called Funky Town.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second, because it is funny how things change, because I was in that same boat of, like, we loved watching shocking content. And, I mean, I know, like, It's not even for love, either. It's... Yeah, it's morbid curiosity. Exactly, yeah. And, like, whether it's 2 girls, 1 cup... To me, there's levels.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's pretty fucking innocent.
Yeah.
That's just gross. There's nothing else to that. Shouts out to the dog that's hanging out around the building here, folks.
Yeah.
The Kiwi Kingdom is guarded by numerous amounts of doggos.
Of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, and one of them is fairly treated better than the rest of them, and it's unfair and it's unjust.
Yep, it's a Chihuahua, so it makes sense. They're little pieces of shit, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. They're like the snooty rich prince.
Spoiled little palace rats is what they are.
Yeah, I always imagine them like my mom had a Chihuahua many years ago, and I always, in my head, I'm like, if you had a human voice, you would be like the guy that goes, "Oh, that's what you're up to, huh?"
Yeah.
What peasants.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're welcome in my presence.
But even as shitty as the little rats are, I still wouldn't, for example, want to watch one get hit in the head with a pop like I did on Facebook, Like,
why
that's something you can run up on, is a dog getting hit in the head with a pop, so... Examples of shock content.
Well, I guess I can't be surprised by that. I've seen quite a bit of animal cruelty on Facebook in the past.
Well, what it is, people justify posting that shocking video with like, "Oh, we're out to get this guy."
Yeah.
Like, that's how they justify putting it out there in the world. But
This
like,
is outrage.
Who wants to see that shit? And I think that's what it is. That's why we've changed over the years.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, you have that morbid curiosity. You're not quite as in tune with the world, maybe, and like, it's a little easier to make things are a little more entertaining, a little more. I wouldn't say funny. It's not like we were ever laughing at those Gore videos or something, but I think we didn't get emotional responses from them like we do now.
You're just curious like, maybe death is the ultimate curiosity for some people at that age. You know what I mean? You're like, this is not something your parents are going to talk about.
Yeah.
No one wants to talk about death. It's the elephant in the room that everybody dies. Everybody's going to do it. There's no escape. And it's like you said in the earlier episode, we all distract ourselves till we die.
Yeah.
We're all just distracting ourselves until the inevitable. So, I mean, some inevitables are... They could be prevented for a while, but some of them are not.
Once you've seen it, and you don't need to go back to it.
Yeah.
Because all of those things make you feel about the same. They make you feel icky.
Make you feel nauseous.
Make me feel like genuinely sad about the world. Mm-hmm. Because I like...
Oh my gosh, that Funky Town may just like absolutely destroy all hope for humanity.
Yeah. If you have any kind of empathy in your body, then... to watch a man get his legs cut off like I did by the cartel and get beat with them, that's not a guy you want to be able to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in that guy's fucking head. You don't even want to know that headspace can be possible.
Yeah. And you mentioning that, I mean, like that same video I was going to talk about, it is also cartel related.
Yeah.
So the point here, kiddos, is do not tempt the cartel.
Yeah.
Do not tempt them. Do not offer them any type of animosity, because it will be reciprocated with you being destroyed.
The most absolute destruction of your existence.
Yeah, and I'm sure you saw back in the day the same video I had. It's like one of the, probably, I can't say one of the first, but it's one of the probably more well-known cartel executions, which is the two guys that are up against the wall, and one is being decapitated with a chainsaw, and the other they take a like a machete and they're just hacking away at the other guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting how those things float around and kind of become a weird part of like underground pop culture.
Makes me want to say they done it themselves. Like they put it out there themselves.
Well, I mean,
like, here you go. Take this as a lesson.
I mean, that's what terrorist groups do, right? I mean,
sure.
That's like the tactics they use is, like, you know,
ISIS or
yeah, exactly. Send out some videos online of you cutting people's throats, and yeah, that fucking instills fear, and that's what a terrorist is.
Osama bin Laden was doing the same stuff, making videos like terrorist videos, and you know,
it's kind of like, you know, fear and respect sometimes go hand in hand, and basically those groups are just telling you like you better fucking respect us and you better be afraid of us, and not saying that. Well, I'm not even gonna sit here and fucking say that I'm not defending their actions, but I mean that's their point.
Well, I will say, shouts out to God, I'm probably gonna get the YouTube channel wrong, but the channel Disturbed Reality is where I heard about this video, and I was just like, oh my God, dude, it's worse than anything I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And you know how creative of a mind I can be with writing and stuff, and I kind of lean towards that darkness. But oh, dude, there's nothing. I don't think there's a serial killer that's capable. I mean, I'm sure there may be, but like given the tools that these people had.
Yeah. So
let me just go ahead and get into it.
Well, here I want to say also.
Do not watch it, by the way. Do not seek it out. Just please let these words be enough to deter you, and let this we're going to get into much happier grounds, folks. Trust us. And this is just something we were talking about prior to recording.
Yeah, we have some fun stuff lined up to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just trying to kill the mood. So that way, the only way to go from here is up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
You can only lift your spirits from here.
Yeah.
Once we dive deep into the darkest pits of...
We may spark your morbid curiosity. Don't look into it because you probably won't leave feeling good.
No.
So just disclosure there.
I would just assume you're going to develop a form of PTSD because it's not going to leave your memory.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, even the videos I saw way back when, 15, 20 years ago, are still with me today.
Yes.
I still see them.
Like which ones do you think about? Because I'm sure.
Dwyer.
Yeah.
The Bud Dwyer, like the politician who shot himself.
Yeah.
And you know what's odd about that? I feel like I had read into it that he was telling the truth.
About what?
That he was being convicted incorrectly.
Oh, shit.
Like, that brings that video to a whole other level of sad if that's true.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. This was the only way he saw out of it because he was going away for like 30, 40 years.
And what? He's like a newscaster or something?
No, he was a politician.
And in that video, he just like walks into a room full of people, has like a briefcase or something.
He passes out like 2 or 3 envelopes to like some of his confidants or something, and the third envelope he keeps for himself, and inside of it is a fucking revolver. And he tells people to step back. He's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. Then he puts it in his mouth and then he shoots.
Yep. And you watch the fucking blood pour out of his brain
like a faucet.
God damn.
That's the one thing that always stuck with me. It wasn't the shot.
Yes.
It was it was literally just the blood, the sound of it coming out of his nose and mouth.
Oh,
just going, it was just.
Fuck! Why?
It was
just doing this to ourselves.
It was literally.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Okay, all right.
Sorry to get that visual with it, but I'm about to get way worse.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do this shit. Get this over with.
Funky Town first apparently leaked onto the internet in like 2016. Starts by the cameras. The torment has way begun before they started recording.
Yeah.
The ceramic floor, like a kitchen tile floor or some shit, is what it's being pointed at the ground. You hear screams in the background, but they're playing music too. And the song you hear is Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine.
This sounds like a creepypasta right now. That's what I'm going to imagine it as to like ease my mind.
If that helps you cope with it.
Yeah.
Because it's about to get very disturbed. The camera pans up. The guy's face is completely flayed.
Oh my God.
His eyeballs have already been gouged out. and his hands have been cut off.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, he's on his knees, just like, blood curdles.
Yeah.
And they have an IV drip attached to him to keep him alive through the whole experience.
Oh my God, that's so morbid.
Yeah. And they first, after all this has begun, they slit his throat with a sickle, and then they proceed to slit it maybe 40 times.
Oh.
Yeah. He's still alive through all this. So, that's what, it's going between the screams, the gurgles, because
he's his body wants to fucking die, but they're literally keeping him alive.
Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine the shit this man is feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is surreal. I can't imagine even the hardest of serial killers being capable of shit like this. That is insanity.
What is there, what always strikes me is, how do you build up to being able to do that to another person and not feel anything?
That has to be beaten into your head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it existing in those circles and you just see so much that you're desensitized to it? It's
Could be, man. I don't know. They also proceed to shove a box cutter in his mouth to shut him up from screaming.
Oh, God damn.
Yeah. And at some point they start, they shove a pole in his mouth to keep him pinned down to the ground because he kept fighting. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, dude.
That's I don't know. It's
well, the song Funky Town plays after Sweet Child of Mine. That's why, there's where your title comes from.
Yeah.
Which, there's a whole, just imagine it. Yeah, that is playing to all of this carnage.
Yeah.
Blood is everywhere. This man's face is completely, there's no face there. It's flayed.
Yeah.
The eyeballs are gone. The hands are gone. And he comes up out of reflex at a point to touch his face with his hands. There's no hands there, and there's no face there. There's no eyes there. You just.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the video cuts off. He's still alive when the video cuts off. So they finish their execution later. And I'm sure there's details I left out of there, but that's pretty much the gist of it. They keep him alive through the entire process. And it's untelling how long that was going prior to that. And it's man, why? There's another one where the fucking father and son are being executed beside of each other.
Oh.
They do the father first. It's a cartel thing. They do the father first, and they beat him with wood, and then they pretty much they cut his head off or something like that. And then the son, they hold him down and they fucking pull his heart out of his chest. It's what the fuck are you people doing, man?
Monsters.
Yeah.
Literal
these
monsters.
People that are capable of these acts of depravity.
Yeah.
Are just walking amongst free.
Yeah.
Because it's I can't say that for all of them. Who knows? Maybe some of these people have been caught.
But there's going to be
it.
somebody else who will do the same thing, who run in the same circles, because that's the way of life in those circles, is living by the sword and dying by the sword, I guess. And commanding absolute fucking respect and instilling fear in everybody so you can have control.
Yeah, and who wants to meet a fate like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, that man must have experienced unimaginable torment.
Yeah.
Unimaginable. And this shit should not be readily available for people to find.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Armin Mavez, if his tapes ever leaked. The German cannibal. Mm-hmm. Me and Jeremy talked about him on a podcast many moons back.
The guy who met the dude online.
The dude came over to his house, wanted to be eaten by Armin.
Yeah.
And Armin videotaped the entire thing. And the only time it was ever seen was in court for the jurors.
Yeah.
They pretty much said everyone there had to seek counseling after what they had witnessed.
Right. So
why?
What are these shock videos doing to our psyche?
Yeah, I can imagine it's having the same type of effect. It has to.
Before the internet, but before video access like that, to that kind of content was readily available, how often did you get to go through life and probably never see anybody die if you lived in an okay place? I
mean, especially if natural causes are just maybe at worst a car crash.
Yeah.
Or maybe a break-in or maybe the one-off murder that may happen. But that's a small town sickness right there of like having the luxury of those types of things. But even then, even the smaller sprawled out areas aren't even so safe.
And you're not seeing those videos on the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, not the full-fledged thing. You might hear people talking about it. You might see a news story about it with a semi-gruesome picture or something, but that's as far as it would go. Yeah. And like that Bud Dwyer video, that's stuck in your consciousness. My little cousin seen that on TikTok. He brought it up to me.
Wow.
And like, so, that's something in his psyche now, probably that's going to stick with him in that same way.
Would have to be. I mean, like if you're not devoid of any type of emotional, like if you have an emotional disconnect all around, maybe like it's not going to bother you. But at some point, like even if you can handle gore, that's not even the point. It's just like you're watching human death.
Yeah.
You're watching something that we all have to do. Maybe not the case of what you just saw in those manners, but you're going to face that one day. You literally watch the life leave this person. You watch their body just poof, they're gone. Now, like they were there and now they're gone. That easy. And it's just something we all have to encounter.
Yeah.
No escape.
I think the thing is that pretty much everybody fools them. I think one of the only ways to get on in life is to fool yourself into thinking that you're going to have a peaceful death. I think if you ask anybody, what they think their death is going to be like, I don't think anybody says, I'm probably going to die in a car crash. I'm probably going to get mutilated by a serial killer. Yeah. Nobody in the world thinks that's going to be their ending.
Well, everyone would want to just sit there and be like, oh, I'm probably going to die in my sleep.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to pass away in my sleep.
Yeah.
Well, that's happy thoughts, In reality, that's a happy thought to have. Like you want to go out as peaceful as you can, but there's a lot of us that ain't going to.
Yeah.
The statistics are there. Look how people go, man. A lot of people die tragically. A lot of people die way prematurely.
That's the darkness in those videos for me, is thinking that those people's last moments of peace in the universe completely taken. Like the thing that is taking them out of this world is the most gruesome thing they ever experience. And that's so fucked up to me to think like, wow, this is how it's ending. But it's not even over yet. They have an IV drip in me and they're extending this absolute horror to the point where I shouldn't even be alive right now. But hey, guess what? I'm still kicking to have a pole shoved down my throat and treated like I'm a toy.
Yeah. And all the while having insults hurled at you and being laughed at.
Yeah.
As they were doing that as well. Like that's a whole other layer of just like
complete human depravity.
Yeah, it's human depravity and like humiliation. Just fucking, it's like so many levels of it.
There's no way you can see that person as a person.
No,
when you're doing that.
You've completely dehumanized them long before you started doing what you were doing.
Yeah,
or you were already taught to treat these people as disposable, as disposable fucking garbage that means nothing. It's just as simple as fucking stepping on a beetle.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably just as simplified as that.
It is, yeah. But even I treat beetles with more care.
Yeah.
than these guys treat other human beings.